Hi, and hello, everyone. I'm going to read your book today. I'm sorry I'm not Judah. My name is Mr. Joe, and I am married to Miss Nicoletti. We're reading What is a Reptile? What is a reptile? Reptiles are vertebrates. Vertebrates are animals that have spines or backbones inside their bodies. Reptiles are cold-blooded animals. The body temperatures of cold-blooded animals change as the temperature of their surroundings change. All reptiles have skin made of scales. Some reptiles have short legs. Others have no legs at all. That sounds like a terrible way to live. Reptiles have lungs for breathing, just as you do. Reptile bodies. Different types of reptiles share similar features. For example, they all have organs such as stomachs, hearts, and lungs inside their bodies. Terrific teeth. Most reptiles continue growing new teeth throughout their lives as old damaged teeth fall out. New teeth grow in to replace them. Turtles, however, they do not have any teeth. They have hard beaks for breaking apart food. Scaly skin. A reptile's skin is made up of hundreds of scales. Scales are made up of keratin. Your fingernails and your hair are also made of keratin. Some reptiles have small scales while others have large scales. Some scales grow bigger and stronger as the reptiles continue to grow. Scales help protect a reptile's body. They allow a reptile to live in a dry climate without dehydrating or losing too much water from its body. And living things need water to stay alive. A delicate balance. Reptiles are cold-blooded animals. They need heat from the sun to warm their bodies. They bask in the sun during the day. When temperatures rise too high, they cool down in the shade. Most reptiles live in tropical places. They could not survive in high mountain areas or in the Arctic where the air can be freezing. Long nap. Mr. Joe loves naps. Tortoises and turtles that live in temperate areas hibernate through winters. During hibernation, animals rest for long periods of time without eating or moving very much. They live off the fat stored in their bodies. When the weather is warm again, the animals come out of hibernation. Small land tortoises hibernate by burying themselves in deep mud so the winter frost does not reach them. Some turtles hibernate in the muddy waters of lakes and rivers. Some reptiles that live in tropical areas also take long rest. They rest during the hottest summer months when little food and water can be found. Resting during summer month is called estivation. Many reptiles that live in hot areas estivate. Not too hot and not too cold. A reptile's body temperature needs to be warm so that organs can work properly. When a reptile's body temperature falls below 86 degrees to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, its heartbeat and breathing slow down, and their digestive system doesn't work. That means their tummies can't make the food come in. If a reptile eats a large meal in cold weather, its body temperatures could drop too low for its body to digest the food properly. A reptile that cannot digest its food may die. Senses. Reptiles rely on their senses to find food and locate objects. Different reptiles rely on different senses to help them survive. For example, some reptiles have excellent sight, where other reptiles have sensitive hearing. Reptile eyelids. Snakes and some lizards do not have eyelids like ours. Instead, they have clear eyelids that always cover their eyes for protection. That means their eyelids blink this way. Instead, crocodilians also have extra eyelids that are clear. Clear eyelids help these reptiles see when they're underwater. Sounds good to me. Most reptiles have ear openings. Ear openings allow sound to travel to reptiles' inner ears. Snakes do not have ear openings, but they can still detect noises. Sound travels through their skulls and into their inner ears. Some snakes do not rely on sound at all. They're so sensitive to temperature changes that they can feel the heat coming from the bodies of their warm-blooded prey. Food and hunting. Reptiles need to eat food to survive. Many reptiles are carnivores. Carnivores are animals that eat other animals. Some reptiles even eat other reptiles. That is not a nice way to be with your friends. Most chelonians and some lizards are omnivores. Omnivores are animals that eat both plants and other animals. Finding friends. Reptiles have many ways of catching and eating food. Some reptiles use their senses to track down prey. Other reptiles, such as crocodiles and alligators, often let their prey come to them. The reptiles hide quietly until the prey wanders by and then snatch it with their powerful jaws. Each reptile on this page has a different way of getting its food. Reptile homes. Reptiles live all over the world except in places where there is very, very cold weather. Different reptiles live in different habitats. A habitat is a natural place where an animal lives. Reptile habitats include ocean, forest, and swamps. Some reptiles live in communities or groups. Some species of reptiles live with other species of reptiles, such as tuatara. They live with animals from different species. Feet tell the tale. The bodies of reptiles are well suited to their environments. If you look at the feet of different reptiles, you can tell where they live. Reptiles that live in water have web between their toes to help them swim. Lizards that climb trees have long toes to grip bark and branches. Burrowing lizards live underground and have sharp claws for digging. Reptiles that live in deserts have long scales on their toes to help them walk on sand. Tree reptiles. Tree-dwelling reptiles have different ways of moving around their habitats. Flying snakes, oh my god, snakes fly, live in tall trees to get from one branch to another. They leap, flatten their bodies, and glide through the air. Lizards that live in trees often have long tails for balancing and holding onto branches. Baby reptiles. Adult male and female reptiles mate or join together to make babies. Most species of reptiles hatch from eggs. A few reptiles, such as boa constrictors, do not hatch from eggs. These reptiles are born live. Animals that are born live are not inside eggs when they come out of their mother's bodies. Reptile eggs. Reptile eggs. Some female reptiles lay their eggs on land in nests made of plants or mud. Some reptile eggs have hard shells, while others have soft, leathery shells. Many reptile eggs are eaten by predators before they hatch. Many animals, include different types of snakes and birds, eat reptile eggs. Baby reptiles break through their shells using an egg tooth. An egg tooth is a hard tooth on the baby's face. The egg tooth falls off soon after the baby hatches. Hatchlings. Young reptiles that have just hatched are called hatchlings. They look like small adult reptiles. Most reptile mothers do not take care of their hatchlings. Soon after the hatchlings break out of their shell, they must find their own food, make their own homes, and protect themselves from predators. The best mom. Of all the reptiles, crocodilians spend the most time caring for their young. A female crocodilian will guard her nest from predators. Once her babies have hatched, the mother carries them to the water in her mouth. For several months, the hatchlings stay close to their mother for protection. Self-defense. Reptiles have many ways of protecting themselves against enemies. Some, like the Komodo dragon, use brute force to injure their attackers. Other reptiles have different ways of defending themselves. Poisonous reptiles. Some snakes and lizards are poisonous. Poisonous animals make venom or poison inside their bodies. They use venom to protect themselves from predators and to capture prey. Poisonous snakes and lizards have two extra teeth called fangs in their mouths. When a poisonous reptile bites an animal, venom slides down the fangs into the animal's body. Injecting venom. Fangs are sharp and hollow teeth. They work a lot like a doctor's needle. The poison is produced in reptiles' venom sacs. Venom travels through the hollow fangs into the holes that the fangs have made in their bodies of enemies. The poison in some reptiles can kill enemies, whereas the poison in others merely stuns them or makes them slow down or freeze long enough to allow the reptiles to get away. Tails off to you. Most reptiles have tails that can get pulled off. Its predator grabs them. So they grab the tail and they yank them off and then they run away. Lizard tails are made up of bones called vertebrae. These vertebrae have cracks where they can break off. When lizard tails are pulled off, the tails wiggle for a few minutes. This movement distracts predators long enough for the lizards to escape. When the tail grows back, they do not have vertebrae. The new portions of the tail are hollow tubes of cartilage or tough, flexible tissue. If the tails are pulled off again, they must separate above the first breaks where there are still vertebrae. Snakes. Snakes are reptiles with long bodies and no legs. Some snakes live in underground tunnels or burrows, and others live above ground. Some species also live in water and in trees. The largest snakes in the world are anacondas and reticulated pythons. Reticulated pythons are the tough one. Each can grow up to 30 feet long. Worm snakes such as the Bahamian blind snake are less than 6 inches long. They're the smallest snakes in the world. Eating. A snake does not use its teeth for chewing. It uses teeth to grab prey and pull down the snake's gullet or throat. A snake swallows its prey whole. A snake's gullet makes up 1/3 of the body's length. Poisonous snakes. Some people think that all snakes are poisonous. For more than 2,700 species or 2,700 species of snakes, only about 800 are poisonous. Of the poisonous species, only about 250 are dangerous to people. Many snakes bite only if they need to protect themselves. Lizards. Lizards are reptiles that have tails and usually live on land. Most lizards have 4 short legs, but a few species have no legs at all. Most lizards can walk or run quickly. The males of some species are different colors than the females. Chameleons. Chameleons are unique lizards. They can change the colors of their skin to shades of green, yellow, brown, and red to blend in with their surroundings. Their ability to change colors helps them hide from predators, and sneak up on prey. Eyes everywhere. A chameleon has bulging eyes that can swivel in different directions. One eye can look straight ahead while the other looks up. With swivel eyes, a chameleon watches for predators and prey at the same time. Getting around. A lizard's legs are on the sides of its body. The lizard has to bend its body from side to side in order to walk and run. Some lizards can still walk very quickly, however. Some lizards, such as chameleons, have prehensile tails that help support the weight of their bodies. When they are in trees, they often wrap their strong tails around branches to avoid falling. Some lizards, such as basilisks, are able to run on their hind legs. Chelonians. Tortoise and turtles make up a group of reptiles called chelonians. Chelonians are reptiles that have shells. Having heavy shells makes chelonians slow-moving animals. Being able to retreat into their strong shells protects them from predators. However, turtles have good eyesight, but scientists believe these reptiles use their sense of smell to find food and other members of the group. Which is which? Turtles and tortoises look similar, but they have important differences. Turtles live on water, tortoises live on land. Turtles have thin, light shells that help them swim through the water. Tortoises have thick, strong shells that protect them from predators. The important shell. Almost all turtles and tortoises have hard shells to help protect them from predators. The shells are made up of a plate of bones connected at the animal's ribs and backbones. I don't know what I did there. Oops. Let me find my place. Sorry about that. Thin layers of skin that contain many nerves and blood vessels cover the shells. This skin is covered with scutes or horny plates, which make chelonians very sensitive to touch. Chelonians do not molt their shells. The shells get thicker and larger as the animals get older. Soft-shelled turtles. Soft-shelled turtles, such as one shown to the left, have different types of shells than the other turtles. Soft shells are made up of thick skin that can easily cut or damage. Soft-shelled turtles live only in freshwater habitats. When they swim, they stick to their snorkel-like snouts out of the water so they can breathe. Many people keep soft-shelled turtles as pets. Crocodilian. These are the three types of crocodilians: crocodiles, alligators, and gavials. Crocodilians are animals with sharp teeth, long snouts, heavy bodies, and large muscular tails. They use their tails for swimming. Their skin is covered in horny plates and large scales. Crocodilians eat birds and fish. They are nocturnal predators that hunt for food at night. During the day, they bask in the sun. Crocodilian home. All crocodilians live in shallow water, swamps, or slow-moving rivers. They live only in warm areas of the world where the winters are rarely cold. Many crocodilians live together in large groups. Tutoras. Although tutoras look like lizards, they make up their own group. The tutoras are the only surviving species of a group of reptiles that lived 200 million years ago. Tutoras were on the earth long before other reptiles and even before the dinosaurs. They are often called living fossils because they are living examples of creatures that were alive millions of years ago. Slow motion. Tutoras have slow metabolism, slower than other reptiles. They digest their food and grow very slowly. Some tutoras, however, can grow to be over 2 feet long and live up to 120 years of age. Where do tutoras live? For many years, tutoras lived in New Zealand and on surrounding islands. Scientists believe tutoras were able to survive for millions of years because of no animals in New Zealand that hunted these slow-moving reptiles. Tutoras changed very little over time because of conditions in the islands in which they live did not change. However, when people settled in New Zealand, they brought with them animals such as dogs and rats that killed these reptiles. Soon there were no more tutoras living in New Zealand. The islands off the coast of New Zealand are the only place in the world where tutoras live now. Cold creatures. Tutoras are more active in colder temperatures than other reptiles. They hunt and eat at night when their air is cool. Tutoras feed on insects, small animal, and bird eggs. During warm days, they sleep underground in burrows where some seabirds also live. Dangers to reptiles. Like all animals, reptiles are an important part of food chains. A food chain is a pattern or cycle of eating or being eaten. Reptiles eat insects and other animals for energy. As part of their cycle, some other animals get their energy by eating reptiles. Pest controllers. People need reptiles. Some areas in the world have too many insects that eat people's crops. Many lizards eat insects. They help humans by controlling populations of insects that are considered to be pests, basically bugs. Reptile predators. Reptiles are eaten by mammals such as mongooses, cats, pigs. Birds of prey such as owls, eagles, and hawks eat reptiles as well. Reptiles such as the Nile crocodile, king snakes, and monitor lizards also eat small reptiles. King cobras mainly eat snakes, which are smaller than they are. They even eat snakes of their own species. The greatest threat. The reptile population around the world are threatened by the destruction of their natural habitats. Habitats are destroyed when humans pollute water and clear trees to build homes and businesses. Reptiles often die when their homes are destroyed. Snakes are disappearing faster than any other groups of vertebrae. Dinosaur cousins. Reptiles have been on Earth for about 340 million years, much longer than human and other mammals. Dinosaurs belong to the reptile family. The reptiles of today are relatives of dinosaurs. Crocodiles are the closest living relatives of dinosaurs. And that's it. Thank you for listening.